Hello, thanks for joining me. Well, Cancer, how are you doing? Did you get through Christmas? Did you get through the holidays all right? I guess you did because you're here and I did too. But what a crazy time. Back to life, back to reality. And let us do a tarot reading for you guys. Now, I was doing 3-card tarot last time I did this. But for 2020, I want to make a change. I want to try and offer a bit more with my channel here. Do subscribe, by the way, if you haven't already, because I'm desperately trying to get to 1,000 subs so I can work live. Then you'll see some fixing, you really will. But it's 5-card tarot this time, and that is good. It's got to be the way forward, hasn't it? So here we go. Should have had my deck in my hand, but I didn't. There we go. So maybe that's symbolic of something. Maybe we need to be a bit more prepared, Cancer. I know I do, certainly, anyway. So, right, Tarot in Wonderland, as we were doing before for quite some time. And let's have a 5-card reading for the sign of Cancer. For 2020, it's January 2020, but my intention is that this is the first one of the year, so let's have a 2020 reading, generally speaking, and see what lies ahead. And the first card out is, here we go, and it's the 2 of Wands. Now, this is a great card, actually, Cancer. This says that a lot of the groundwork has been done. This says that we're moving forward. This says that things are going to be happening. They've actually started already. Alice is facing away from the kind of chessboard effect on the field in the background there. And the 2 rags blowing in the wind on the ones that are red. So it's not so much a red rag to a bull as a red rag of progress, of going forward, of making things happen. Beautiful clear blue sky behind her. The clouds are very slightly slanted, but isn't that just nature? We need to be a little bit careful, but maybe not too careful, because this really is the start of the journey. This is things beginning to look good and beginning to look positive. And we've actually got flowers growing here at the bottom of the card. So we're sort of grounded in nature, and we're grounded in the idea that things are already bearing fruit. So it would be nice if they bore a flute, actually. That'd be cheaper than buying one on Amazon or wherever. Anyway, that's right. So I accidentally said flute there. I guess we're looking at some kind of magical musical thing going on there somehow. I'm not quite sure what that symbolises just yet, because it's not in the card. But things are looking good, you know. Music is a thing of nature and a thing of harmony. So balance and harmony is certainly coming into the picture. Being a 2 card, it really does represent balance. So that's another thing to think about. But it's looking very positive. The journey doesn't seem to be very deeply underway, but it's definitely started. We are past the number 1, we're at the number 2, and things are looking good. There must have been an Ace of Wands somewhere in the picture, Cancer, to have set things off in such a positive way as that. Okay, so let us shuffle some more and see what we've got for a second card in this reading. It's 5-card spread, so this is going to be kind of the next step rather than the heart of the matter, but it's definitely part of what's going on, and it is the 3 of Pentacles. Here we go. Now then, this is another very positive card, actually. It shows that hard work is going on, and it's likely to bear even more fruit than it is doing already. We can see that the tree is bearing fruit. Let's just come up a bit closer there so you can have a look at the tree. Okay, it's a pentacle card, so we've got earth, wind, fire and water working together under the guidance of the divine, under the guidance of spirit. And, you know, the divine and spirit, or whatever you want to call it, the universe, the inspiration, as well as being an out there thing that we call in and draw in to work with us, it is actually part of ourselves, you know. Somebody once said, because I sell wands occasionally, wish I had one here to show you, but there we go, I'm unprepared again, my wands are on the windowsill. But when I make wands and sell them, someone, from time to time actually, it comes up again and again, someone will say, we are actually the wands ourselves, and we really are. We have it all within us. We have all the possibilities we need in terms of guidance and the divine. So this pentacle card shows that we're really on top of things. And again, it's a number 3, so it's quite early in the progression of sort of numerology of working through things. But it is very positive. It is going in the right direction. But if we look down, we see the white rabbit there, or is it a hare? I'm never sure. I think this one's White Rabbit. And White Rabbit is reading from a plan there. So there is a plan, and it's not actually Alice looking at the plan. So there is a plan there that's worth looking at, maybe worth taking a look at again. We plan things, we make a start on actually doing what we've planned to do, but we do whatever we do in an ever-changing world, in an ever-changing universe. So we sometimes need to stop and take stock. I'm not sure about Alice needing to stop there, but if I was her, I'd just look down from the ladder and ask Mr. Hare or Mr. Rabbit or whoever he is to look at the plans and just tell me what's changed. And you see there's a sort of very studious expression on his face there as he looks at the plans. And so he's wondering, is this really going to work? Alice isn't wondering. She's busy. She's hard at work. So don't let doubters, don't let other people put you off. Don't let other people stop you. But do be aware that we need to keep changing our plans because the world is always changing. This is a very important thing in any kind of spiritual pursuit at the moment. It used to take people like maybe a decade to learn to be, for example, a spiritualist medium, picking on something that I sort of do and know about. About the time I came into it, people were saying it took about 3 years. Well, that was 10 years ago, and it actually took me just a little bit under sort of 3 years to be able to make sense of what was coming into me, the dreams and the guidance from the spirit world, and to actually start working and doing appearances in spiritualist churches. And that's just mediumship, you know, it's a part of the whole cosmic picture. But the energies are changing. We are moving at the moment. The whole solar system is moving from one part of space where we were quite deeply protected by magnetic fields into a rather more stark, rather more open part of space. So we're less protected. We've got to stand on our own 2 feet more. And that does mean that the cosmic energies are coming through in a way that we can tune into much more quickly and go much further with. Okay, so, you know, life is changed, and so is the universe, and so is absolutely everything that goes on the spiritual planes. We've actually got the king there as well. The king looks happy with things, so we're going to go full speed ahead, Cancer. That's the thing to do. Don't let anyone stop you, but just do take some pause for thought. You know, don't so much stop as pause. Have a think about it, and look at what else is coming into you. Okay, so what have we got for the heart of the matter? This is going to be card number 3 of a 5-card reading. So it's the center of the reading. The next card, it's telling us the heart of the matter and a lot about what needs to be done, actually, because it is the 9 of Swords. Here we go. Now the hare, I'm sure it's the hare this time because of those long ears, is woken up in the middle of the night. The clock here says, let me see, it looks like about 25 past 2 to me on the clock in this picture. I don't know what it looks like to you. Whatever it looks like to you is the most important thing, by the way, guys, because the most important aspect of any of these readings is what they actually mean to you. Now, there are 9 swords hanging over his head here, and it doesn't look a happy situation. It's a rather dark card, this one, to be quite honest. But we do get this darkness in our soul sometimes, and it tends to come through in dreams more often than not, because during the day when we're awake and sort of alive and generally stuck in the dreary chain of cause and effect that characterizes this world, it's then that we find it easier to block these things out. There's some kind of lesson coming through, but more than anything, the hare is worried about all these different things which are hanging over his head. Are they going to drop on his head? Are they going to take him out? Are they going to kill him? Are they going to kind of hold him up in his progress? Who knows, because the quilt there is actually a chessboard, so there is a game going on. But the thing about that is, what he can do is he can take down one of those swords at a time, and he can actually do something about one of those problems. And by dealing with things one at a time, we can sort out the most complicated, the most complex, and the most difficult of situations or problems that we might feel we've got. And if you feel you've got a problem, then it's a problem, to be quite honest. You know, it's sticks and stones, that kind of thing, when it's other people throwing problems at us. and we've got to just rise above it. But nevertheless, it doesn't make life any easier when we've got problems hanging over our head one way or another. So the thing to do is take those swords down one at a time, okay? He can take the first sword down, sort it out, probably do that before morning, actually, because in this 24-hour world, we can make phone calls to automatic machines and sort things out that way. Who knows, maybe he's got to wait till tomorrow, but certainly if he takes down one of those swords now, maybe makes himself a cup of coffee or something to wake himself up a bit and starts dealing with one of those swords, then tomorrow night when he goes to bed, there are only going to be 8 swords hanging over his head, so it's going to be that little bit easier, and in just over a week, he's actually going to have dealt with them all. So, progress is possible. It's our own, not our own fault, I wouldn't say, because it is very much part of the human condition, but it is our own human condition that makes things feel really hopeless. Nothing is ever totally hopeless, friends. That's a fact, and that's a cosmic truth and a worldly truth as well. It's a very real thing, very definite part of our world. So if that's you, waking up in the middle of the night, Cancer, take down one of those swords every night and do something about it within the sort of 24 hours ahead of you, because even if you don't manage to get a thing sorted out in one go, just the thought of making progress makes it feel that much better, makes it less of a nightmare, and it's not going to haunt your dreams. That's if it's you. Maybe it's someone around you, and if you're in a relationship, maybe it's the other person in the relationship, the other partner who is going through this. That can actually make it difficult for you as well. I once heard from a lady who had a husband who worried about everything constantly, and we all got snowed in. She lives around here near me in West Wales, UK, and we all got snowed in, and she said that was the only time she'd seen him really happy for about a year since all these problems had started coming to him, because it revolved around getting a letter in the post. That was his fear, and because we were all snowed in, the post wasn't working. The postal workers couldn't actually get down and deliver our post. So that made him happy because nothing could go wrong. But really, eventually it stopped snowing, and eventually that cleared, the obstruction cleared, and that meant he was worried about the problems again. And as I'm talking about this, and we're looking at it as a sort of third-party thing, something a little bit more distant from ourselves. Looking at someone else, we can always see, well, they could work out these problems one at a time somehow. And that applies to, either us or the other party, whoever it is that's going through it. Okay, so 9 of swords there. A lot of thoughts, a lot of worry going on, being sword cards, but they can be sorted out. The universe doesn't throw these things at us until we've somehow got the wherewithal within ourselves to be able to handle what's going on. So fear not, look straight ahead, Cancer, and take down those swords one at a time, do something about it, and you'll be able to move on. The reading is moving on again. I'm having a good old shuffle, and I'm saying let's have card number 4 in this 5-card spread for the sign of Cancer in January 2020, which is giving us guidance for the whole of 2020. Let's have that one, please. And we've got the 10 of Cups. Now, this is great. This is such a happy card here. The Cups... Whenever we get a cup card, we've got to ask ourselves, are the cups full or empty, or half full or half empty? Does it even matter? Is that even what it's saying to us? Well, maybe we don't need to worry in this one, because it's the 10. In numerology, it's the 10 of completion. Doesn't mean that there isn't another leg of the journey to come, but things are looking very positive here. And frankly, I would suggest, Cancer, it's not too much worth worrying about. And being Cancerians, you are very compassionate people, and maybe there are other people that you're concerned about. Maybe there are people you want to help. But this card says things are going pretty well. The pages in the background haven't even got legs, and they're still quite happy, and they're still flying around. So there's something cosmic about that, something spiritual about that. There's some kind of success in all this, you see, and a great deal of success in terms of relationship, because King and Queen are happy here. And the thing about them being the King and the Queen is it could be you, but you will actually be on top of it, and whoever else is involved in the picture will be on top of it as well. We've got clouds in the background which are coloured red, and that shows a slight element of things that could go either way, If it's a red sky in the morning, we might not have such a beautiful day ahead. If it's a red sky at night, then we have got a great day ahead of us, but it's going to be dark for a few hours in between now and then. Now then, however good things are, there is always that little bit of darkness, and there is always that gambit quality. Will it be a good time ahead? Will it be not such a good time ahead? That is life. That is part of our worldly kind of witness, I suppose, what we have to bear witness to in this life. And we should always be aware of the potential problems in life. But this is looking good, Cancer. So overcome those fears. See those cups as being full, not empty, not even half empty, not even half full, guys. But see those cups as full, because it's the 10 of completion. It's looking incredibly positive. And the red in the clouds there, let's see that as kind of higher heart chakra pink, because it is a pinkish kind of a red. So it's progress, and you know, it's love as well. If this is a love reading for you guys, this is incredibly good news, and in fact it's pretty good news whatever kind of reading this is to you. By the way, please do subscribe to my channel if you haven't yet, and tap the bell to receive all notifications, and then have a look through my channel, because there are hundreds of readings. So getting on for 500 readings, maybe 600 by now. Actually, I've almost stopped counting, because I'm sure that, you know, things will manifest in a positive way for the channel. But it'd be great for me if that was sooner rather than later, so I can get on and work live. Anyway, hundreds of readings there, and it doesn't matter too much if you're drawn to a reading and it's not actually for your star sign. If you're drawn to it, there's a reason for it. So have a scan of my channel, see what comes up for you. Okay, let's move on and ask for the outcome card in this reading for the sign of Cancer, which I'm doing for the whole of 2020, and I'm doing it in January 2020. And let's see what we've got, and here we are. It's the Page of Cups. There she is. Alice doesn't really know what she's doing, doesn't really know what she's looking at, but she's absolutely delighted. And all of the pages could represent a young person, or they could just represent some inexperience either in a person or in our own lives. Somehow there's an element of not quite knowing what lies ahead here, but that's pretty healthy if you ask me. It is card number 5, it's an outcome card, and because it's January, then it's an outcome card that where the outcome is about going on to the next leg of the journey, and maybe a little complication here, but this is somebody who a page, particularly the Page of Cups actually, will dive in whether she knows the shot or not, whether she knows exactly where she's going or not. If you're open to her, if you're receptive to her, she will come in, you know, and she may need a bit of encouragement, she may need a bit of guidance, but Cancer, you guys are good at that, shouldn't be a problem for you. Whatever she needs, you're somehow going to be able to provide the answer. And if this is you, you're somehow going to be able to find the answer. Okay? So going forward through January and through the whole of 2020, and in fact, through the whole of life, let's face it, we can always bring advice, bring guidance, because this isn't a problem as such. It may be someone else who's got a problem with keeping it real, but as long as we can keep it real somehow, we can teach into this problem. We can actually focus our good intention and bring good energy to whatever's missing in Alice's general view of the world here, and make it positive, make it practically possible. Okay, we're just looking at a possible, you know, impracticality coming into the situation here, but it comes hard of the hit. I've dropped it on the floor now. Here we go. Right, it comes hard on the heels of the 10 of Cups, yeah? So that is such a positive card. That is making such good things look not just possible, but as if they're actually going to happen, and we just move on. And maybe we're just a little bit over-optimistic, but it's better to be over-optimistic than pessimistic, if you ask me, because things can always change in a happy way. Things can always change in a positive way. Right, okay, Cancer. Well, I'm going to put the deck down now. I'm going to say thanks again for watching. Thumbs up, please, if you've enjoyed it. Don't forget to subscribe. Tap that bell to receive all notifications. Check out my channel. It's all there. If you guys can share me around the internet, that would really help. 1, it helps me to get the word out. And 2, it helps me to generally impress YouTube and get the algorithm working a little bit more in my favour, so I can actually spread the word even further, which is a fine thing. Hope you've had a good festive season, listen, Cancer, I hope you have a fantastic January. I'll be back with more readings very soon, but, I hope you have a fantastic 2020 as well. Leave me a comment, guys. It's always great to hear from you. It's good to know what you think of these readings. It's good to know if it helps one way or another, and, it helps me get more in tune with you, so my readings get more in tune with you, which is always my goal, because this is about reaching out to the world. And in fact, I would say this whole reading has been about reaching out to the world. We've started with the Two of Wands, very much the beginning of the journey, and we've ended the thing with 10 of Cups and Page of Cups. So our longings, our desires are coming into being. It might take January, it might take the whole year, it might happen tomorrow. You just never know, because the universe works like that. The energy comes in just when we need it. Ask an angel if you need to. Ask Archangel Michael, right? If you've got a problem with this one, where we get to the Nine of Swords, which is the heart of the matter, it really is, Cancer. Ask Archangel Michael for some protection there, and that will help the dreams ease, and that will help kind of get the swords down, fix them up, and go forward. Bit of tourmaline under the pillow if the dreams are getting too much. That's my advice. Okay, have a fantastic year of it anyway, and I'll see you again very soon. Peace.